You wake up on a rock, freezing, which honestly tracks because you're a penguin, and the rock is in Antarctica. Nothing unusual yet. You stretch, you waddle, you let out your morning call, the same one you've made every single day to locate your colony because that's just penguin small talk, except nothing calls back. That's weird. You try again, a little louder this time, still nothing. No chorus of thousands of other penguins doing the exact same thing you're doing right now. No smell of fish breath and guano hanging in the air like usual. No chaos of birds shuffling around looking for their mate in a crowd that, until apparently 5 minutes ago, numbered in the tens of thousands. You look around. It's just rocks, ice, wind, you. Okay, don't panic. You're a penguin. Panicking burns calories you don't have to spare. You waddle toward where the colony should be, following the same path you've walked 1,000 times, and it's just empty. Not destroyed, not bloody, just gone. Like everyone got up and left without telling you, which, deeply rude, but also deeply concerning, because penguins do not function as solo acts. You are what scientists call an obligately social species, which is a fancy way of saying you were never built to do this alone, and this just became your entire life. Here's the part that's actually terrifying once it sinks in. You're not just lonely, you're structurally compromised. Everything about how you survive down here was designed around the existence of thousands of other birds doing it with you. Warmth, you get from huddling. Safety from predators, you get from 1,000 eyes watching the water at once so you don't have to. Even finding a mate, raising a chick, every part of that requires somebody else showing up. You didn't just lose your friends. You lost the entire infrastructure your body assumed would always be there. You do one more lap around the empty colony just to be sure, checking behind rocks, scanning the horizon for literally anything with flippers, and there's nothing. No birds in the water, no birds on the ice, just you, several thousand square miles of frozen nothing, and a slowly dawning understanding that whatever just happened, you're the only one left to deal with it. You try retracing yesterday in your head, which, to be fair, is a short trip because your brain is mostly running on instinct and fish-related decision-making. You remember eating, you remember sleeping in the middle of the huddle, which was warm, comfortable, normal. You do not remember anything resembling an evacuation announcement, a warning sign, or a single other penguin saying, "Hey, quick heads up, we're all relocating at 3 a.m., feel free to join." Nobody tells the penguin standing too close to the edge of the group anything important, apparently. And tonight that turns out to matter a great deal. First problem, and it's a big one. It's -40 degrees, and you're built to survive that specifically by being one bird in a pile of thousands of other birds. Huddling isn't a cute penguin quirk, it's basically the entire survival strategy. A colony rotates constantly. Birds on the freezing outside edge slowly work their way toward the warm middle, then drift back out, everybody taking turns absorbing the worst of the wind so nobody freezes solid. It's an actual system. It works great. It requires more than one penguin. You try to simulate it anyway, because what else are you going to do? Tucking yourself behind a chunk of ice and angling your back to the wind, like that's somehow the same as 800 other warm bodies pressed against you. It is not the same. You shiver through the night, alone, doing math you didn't know you were capable of. Something along the lines of how many hours until sunrise versus how many hours you can realistically survive like this, and the numbers are not making you feel great. Morning comes, you're still alive. Mild victory. Now you've got to eat, which means going in the water, which is normally the single most dangerous part of being a penguin. And normally you'd handle that the same way you handle everything else, in a group. Hundreds of you hit the water at once specifically, so that if a leopard seal's lurking down there, it only gets one of you, and the math works out in your favor purely on volume. You don't have that math anymore. You've got one body in one ocean full of predators that would very much like to make today easy for themselves. You hesitate at the edge for a long time. Too long, probably. Your stomach's not exactly thrilled about the delay. But eventually instinct wins and you dive in anyway, because starving slowly on a rock isn't really an upgrade from a quick problem in the water. You swim fast, eyes wide, completely alone in an ocean that's never once had to test what you're individually capable of, because there was always a crowd to hide your weaknesses inside of. Something big moves in your peripheral vision. Your heart rate does something it has never done before. You don't even think, you just bolt for the surface and haul yourself onto the ice so fast you nearly faceplant, lying there gasping, alive, fed, and thoroughly unwilling to do that again anytime soon. Days start blurring together after that. You eat when you have to, you huddle badly against ice that doesn't huddle back, and you keep doing your morning call out of pure habit, even though you've fully accepted nothing's answering. At one point, you catch yourself doing the little maid-attracting display you'd normally do for a crowd. The head bob, the call, the whole performance, and you stop halfway through because there is, extremely obviously, nobody here to perform it for. Just you and about 400 miles of ice in every direction, putting on a show for an audience of 0. Then there's the skuas, the seagull-looking opportunists that normally circle a colony, hoping one distracted parent leaves an egg unguarded for half a second. In a crowd of thousands, that's a small, manageable risk. A few unlucky eggs lost to a few lucky birds. As the only target on the entire ice shelf, you become significantly more interesting to them, and one decides to test exactly how alone you really are, diving low enough that you feel the wind off its wings. You swing around, flap, hiss, make yourself look as large and unappetizing as a single confused penguin possibly can, and it eventually loses interest and peels off, but your heart's still going twice its normal speed an hour later. Weeks pass like this. You've gotten almost disturbingly good at solo survival, your own private system of badly simulated huddling, overly cautious ocean dives, eating just enough to get by without ever fully relaxing. You've basically become the most competent, most miserable penguin in the history of the species. A one-bird colony running on pure stubbornness, and there's something almost impressive about that, in a deeply sad way. You start talking to rocks at one point, which probably isn't a great sign, mentally. You don't say anything profound to them, mostly just narrating your own day out loud because the silence has gotten loud enough that you'd rather fill it with your own voice than sit in it. One particular rock becomes a pretty reliable listener, mostly because it never interrupts and never leaves in the middle of the night without telling you, which, by current standards, makes it your most trustworthy relationship on the continent. Then, one morning, doing your usual hopeless little call, just to keep the habit alive, you hear something. Faint, distant, but unmistakable. Another penguin call, coming from somewhere past the ridge. You freeze. You call again. It calls back. Your entire nervous system short-circuits in a way it has not done in weeks, and you take off across the ice at a dead waddle, which, generously, tops out at around 5 miles an hour. But it's the fastest you have ever moved in your life. You crest the ridge, and there they are. Not thousands, not even hundreds. Just a small, scraggly group of maybe 30 penguins, huddled together, looking just as confused and relieved as you feel. Turns out the rest of the colony didn't vanish into thin air. They relocated overnight chasing a better fishing spot, which is apparently just a normal Tuesday for penguins, and somehow nobody thought to wait for you, or possibly count heads, or do literally anything resembling basic colony management. You shuffle into the group anyway, exhausted, freezing, thrilled beyond words to have other warm bodies to press against tonight. And one of them turns to look at you with what you can only describe as zero acknowledgement of the absolute psychological ordeal you just survived. You open your beak to tell them everything. The cold, the seal, the solo mating dance nobody saw, the whole tragic saga, and the penguin next to you just shrugs, turns around, and goes back to sleep. Cool, 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 cool. Great talk, everyone.